What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to another Rivalry Week. I'm here with my guy Drew Mack. How you doing tonight?
Doing good, sir. How about you?
Doing good, doing good. How's everybody doing in the comments? How you doing tonight, Ant? What's up, family? What's up? Go Dogs, of course. What's up, Markeith? How you doing? Um, the rivalry. Well, we were talking about it before the show. The rivalry of is it like you came and said, is it really a rivalry?
Yeah.
Last 3 years, Georgia has won. Not, I wouldn't say convinced. Well, yes, it's been convincing. Last year wasn't
Yeah.
as convincing as it should have been, but
Mhm. I
yeah,
don't know. What was it? 23-7,
was it
something like
something
that.
close to that? Yeah, something close. I think it was
Something like
something
that.
close to that.
I don't know.
So
Now I do
this
know that
year,
2019 was 21-14 because I was there for
yeah,
that one, and
that's last year because we
that,
played. Yeah, we were home
that
that
was the
year. I
last
mean, you
time.
were home.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was the last time in Jordan Hare.
yep. This year was which I hated. This year was being in, but for you, Auburn has at number 18 got
Mm-hmm.
another ranked opponent for Georgia. Where you guys didn't start off ranked. You did not start this
No,
season off ranked. You end up being ranked this year. You
really
come up
by no fault of our own.
yeah,
We
yeah,
I think we beat Akron week one pretty convincingly, and by other teams losing, came into the top 25.
yeah.
So LSU is by far our best win, and LSU is not anywhere near what they normally are. I think Auburn held them to
Just look at it.
34 yards or 26 yards rushing, somewhere in the below 40 yards rushing, which is unheard of.
33. It was 33 yards
33,
rushing. Yeah.
which is unheard of for an LSU team. But no, it's definitely been a lot of growing pains with new head coach Brian Harsin.
Yeah. You go out, you beat well, like you said, your best win is basically LSU, but
Mm-hmm.
LSU has been a little bit of a dumpster fire this year.
Yep.
But you beat Akron, you beat Alabama State, you go
Mm-hmm.
up to Nittany House, you go up there to Penn State. You play them really close. I thought you guys could win that game.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that if and call me a homer if you want to. I think if that game is played in November, late October, I think Auburn comes away with a win there.
mhm.
Um, uh, there were a lot of miscues that cost Auburn in that game. I firmly expect Iowa to win over Penn State this weekend. But no, a tough ball club in Penn State, and Auburn, the talent level especially at wide receiver, which is what Mike Bobo likes to do, pass the ball for whatever reason. Uh, there are running backs there for a reason as well, but whatever. That's they're getting paid a whole lot more money than I am to call the game. So no, the talented wide receiver has to pick up for Auburn, and that's why I think they made the change when they did a couple of weeks ago, a week and a half ago, to insert a new wide receiver coach just 4 games into the season. And you started to see that kind of pay off against LSU. So I expect a little bit more of that, although you might not see it so much in the game, just because of Georgia's defense doing what they do best.
Yeah. Well, for Georgia, coming in this week, we blow out 2 weeks back to back without allowing a touchdown. 99 points, which is really that has to be the craziest thing I think I've ever thought of. 99-0 in the last 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best team I think I've seen at Georgia in my 20
Mm-hmm.
years of living. This is my best team I've ever seen at Georgia, and I've lived through the Matthew Stafford years,
Mm-hmm.
the Aaron Murray years. I don't ever remember who was our quarterback after Aaron Murray. I know he probably hates me if he watches the show because I never know his name.
Joe Cox.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't never remember that man's name. Joe Cox. I don't know. I guess he was because we had Gurley and we had more we
Or Joe Cox was before Murray.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he thinks
Joe
Joe
Cox
Cox
was
was before Murray.
between Stafford and Murray.
Yeah, it was Murray, Joe Cox. Then Stafford, Joe Cox, Murray, and I never remember who was in between those two. And then you get to from somewhere. I can't even remember. Oh, Eason was a year.
Yep, Eason was a year.
From took his spot, and then
Mm-hmm.
you get the last year who was we had From for 3 years. Then JT, well, it's not even JT. It was Stinson last year. Then it was JT.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a couple of, like defense wise is the best defense, I think. And if you're in the comments and you can tell me what you think, because a lot of you guys are older than me, but this has to be like the best Georgia team complete. Like
I
I can't
know.
think of a
I mean, I'm an Auburn guy, so I've watched a lot of Georgia football teams, just by de facto, at least one game a year. I'll go out on a limb and say that it should, and I kind of said this before the show whenever we were getting ready. If Georgia is able to finish this off and get and win the national title, I think this is the best Georgia team in the history of the program.
oh yeah.
The talent level is there. I think, and mainly because, and I hate to say this as a Valdosta guy, just because of the quarterback, but the 80 team was really a one-trick pony with a good defense. And I think, and it's a pretty good trick with Herschel Walker, but I think that this team is even better because, all right, you stack the box with 8 and you just go man coverage and pray. They're still going to beat you. I mean, I know that you only had 78 yards passing last weekend, but Stetson Bennett can get the job done with the wide receivers that you have, even without George Pickens, who's your best wide receiver on the sideline. Yeah. So I think that if Georgia is able to pull this off, which, don't get me wrong, they still have to go through Alabama probably twice. And I know that, they probably paid the best defense or best offense in the SEC, and they gave up 21 points, but they really didn't. If you watch the game, it was more like 7. And then they put in their JV squad. So there's still a whole lot to go for Georgia, mainly 120 minutes of football. Once in Atlanta and then once wherever the national championship is. I can't even remember.
I can't. I was gonna say. I think is it the Tostitos Bowl this year? It's one of the 6.
I know that the semifinals are the Cotton Bowl and Miami, I believe.
If I'm not mistaken. It's the Orange Bowl and Cotton Bowl, and then let me see,
and then somewhere, maybe New Orleans. I don't know.
Probably
that sounds right. Might be the Rose Bowl. No, it is the. Maybe I can't remember.
It's in Lucas Oil, I think. No, it's in Indy. Well, no, yeah, it says Indiana. Yeah, it says Indy.
Really?
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yes, it's Lucas Oil Stadium. I don't know if I'm reading it. I don't know why it would be. Let me see. No. Let me go to college football playoffs. Miami, South Florida.
There we go.
Yeah. 2021, 2022. Indianapolis. Actually, no, it might be. This is 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be Indy. Yeah.
Okay.
And then next year's going to be in LA. Oh, I guess because they're going to move away from.
Well, the national championship doesn't have to be in a bowl game.
Yeah.
It can be wherever. But no, the defense for Georgia rivals that of an Alabama 2011, 2012, which was another good one. I mean, I think I heard, I like to listen to College Football Matrix, which is Uber Analytics. I think that per play, Georgia's defense is giving up 0.12 points or 0.012 points per play, which means you basically have to run 100 plays to get 17 points right now, which is just unbelievable.
It's
That
ugly.
that
That's
right,
an ugly
you're
stat.
yeah, you're getting to the levels of where we have to talk about all time defense. Like you're talking about 79 Alabama. You're talking about some of those Nebraska teams back with Tom Osborne. Um, it's to the point where, I mean, as an Auburn fan, I'm more wanting Auburn just to look okay, look competent, not turn the ball over. I'm not expecting a win, obviously, but if we can keep it a respect, and I say respectable because it's Georgia, Alabama, and everybody else.
Yeah.
That we're not. Let's not joke ourselves. So if Auburn can keep it a respectable 28-6, 31-6, or 31-3, like put points up on the board, but not turn the ball over. I'm going to be fine because I think Auburn's about 2 or 3 years away from being competitive. So that's why I put the rivalry in quotations for right now. I think it will get back to that much sooner rather than later, especially now that Gus Malzahn is gone to warmer pastures in South Florida.
Yeah. Um. This defense is what Kirby had at Alabama. We talked about that
Mm-hmm.
too. We said
Yeah,
this was
we absolutely
we
did.
said 2011 2012
Mm-hmm.
was the year where they had like the 6-9 game, and
Mm-hmm.
then they would go out and be like 21-0. Like
Mm-hmm.
that, it's just that defense. And that's why I say Alabama hasn't had that defense in a while. If you look at Alabama gave up 14 points to Southern Mississippi.
Yep.
Like Georgia
That's not
UAB,
bad in these days, but
but
it's not what Georgia's doing.
yeah, Georgia gave up 7 points to UAB, and that was on a backup pick six.
Mm-hmm.
Where we had the scrubs in basically, like you said,
Yeah,
we haven't given up a touchdown. Our starters haven't given. We played South Carolina. Our backups were in. They got a touchdown.
yeah.
We've only given up like this year. I think they say how many points. I forgot how many points. Is it like 20? I only think it's 20 points in
20, 23, something like that. That's
20,
why. That's why
23.
any other year I would feel bad for saying let's keep it respectable at 31-6. That's not respectable. If you put up 6-10 points on this Georgia team, not I know we were making fun of Florida for a moral victory, but I think with where not the Auburn program, but where this Auburn team is at this point, I think 10 points, even if it is a pick six or, let's say, Smoke Monday or somebody like that takes one back to the house, I'm not going to argue that those points go against the Georgia defense.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad if Smoke gives it.
Yeah.
No, that's the only person
Yeah,
I'm not
I
mad
won't.
about. Yeah, I don't think anybody's gonna be mad, but I think like you said, the most respectful score is you getting a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like you getting a touchdown versus Georgia is you. That might be your championship when you play Georgia this year. Like
Yeah.
if you can score on Georgia, you might as well congratulate yourself because this team is getting scary.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, Auburn's got weapons. Auburn can do it. I think Auburn can score a touchdown. They've got Tank Bigsby. They've got Jarquez Hunter, who is an absolute monster. I fell in love with from game one, the first time he touched the ball. And then a guy that I've been in love with for about 3 or 4 years, and Sean Shivers, all at running back. And then you just haven't seen the productions. John Samuel Schenker has become a real tight end weapon for Auburn this year, and the Georgia transfer Robinson has had flashes.
I don't know why D-Rob left. I know he's probably somewhere just like, why did I leave? But
well, he's the feature wide receiver now for Auburn. Mainly just because of how green Auburn's wide receiver core is. So he's the one, he's the leader. And he's kind of struggled this year just because having to learn the offense on the fly. He didn't get there until I think just after fall practice began. So
he didn't get the whole summer camp. He didn't get spring.
No, he did not arrive on campus until I want to say it was at least the into the second week of August, just because of transfer and getting classes wrapping up and everything like that. So no, he's still learning on the fly. It's getting to the point now where okay, you're into you're a month into the season. It's time to start showing out. So I'm interested to see what he looks like this game, just to see. But
Mhm.
but no, Auburn's got weapons, and I didn't even really go into Tank Bigsby, although he's been a little bit banged up here the past couple of games, so he hasn't been himself. But um, the problem for Auburn right now is the offensive line talent, and it's part of the reason why Gus Malzahn's no longer there. Gus was not able to sign an offensive line recruit out of high school uh, from 2017 until the moment that he got fired. So Auburn had to rely on transfers and junior college transfers, all transfers, for their offensive line. So you're dealing with talented guys up front on the first line, but if you rotate those guys in and out, which you kind of need to do, especially against a defensive line that can take on three defensive or that can take on whomever and just bowl them over. It's very tough. So again, it's Georgia's got a head start on Auburn as far as talent and depth go. So it's going to be tough for Auburn to establish a running game. If Auburn were to get 100 yards rushing as a team, that's one of the goals. I think this is one of those games where Auburn needs to work on themselves more than let's look across the field, trying to win the game, obviously, but Auburn working on themselves is something that I want to see more so in this game.
I think that's what you have to look at this point. Because it's hard. Like I keep saying it. Like it's hard to beat Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to beat Georgia, and I don't even say that like as just being a Georgia fan. Like even if I was a non-college, like if I was just doing college football, and you look at what Georgia's done, like defensively, our defense has just been. Like you sit there and you're really like, this team is crazy. Like, and then you look at like PFF. You have like your running game. You're gonna have to try to run into the outside
Mm-hmm.
because you're not going to want to run at Jordan Davis,
No,
and you're definitely not going to run at Big 88 or Trayvon
no,
Walker
you're
or Kobe Dean. Like you're going to have
the
to try to run it like jet sweeps and stuff, and that's
mm-hmm.
hard when you want to use Tank because Tank wants to come out the backfield. So
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's why you'll see, I think, more Hunter. You'll see more Shivers. You'll see a lot of, in my opinion, you're going to see a lot of those guys lining up in the slot and doing extended on screen and bubble passes just to get them to the outside and in space.
yeah,
The problem is that you're going to then have the linebackers and the safeties crashing in on the outside. So you're going to have to throw it on slants over the middle, try to get Georgia guessing. And the issue is going to be for Auburn, can you give Bo Nix enough time, which we've seen that he can make time with his feet. Just ask LSU. Um, if Auburn can have enough time to get down the field and get passes, I haven't seen anybody pass on Georgia, mainly because they haven't had time to pass.
it's hard.
So,
Even if you like speaking on our safeties and
mm-hmm,
cornerbacks, we just got healthy again with that
yeah,
because Keith Smith just came back.
mm-hmm,
The guy from West Virginia that transferred.
yep,
He's back now. So it's like all around defensively, this team it's just bad. Like I mean, it's going to be really really hard.
mm-hmm,
You're gonna
no,
want to throw the ball. You're gonna try to like I can see people going for it.
sure,
Like I can see people going to try to throw
mm-hmm.
the ball on us because like everyone's like, well, the
It's the
secondary
only
hasn't
real
been
option.
yeah,
I mean, it's
but
the only viable option.
yeah. And if
Um,
you try to go another way with it, it's gonna be bad. It's just bad. Like the team is just all around. It's just like man, I don't know what you do. Like I don't know how you just you can't see a way to beat Georgia. Like I don't see how anybody can see a way and be like, we can beat Georgia.
I
It's
mean, you
just like,
have Georgia has to help you,
yeah,
especially until you get to game 13. The opponent for Georgia needs them to help them get beat. I've seen a lot of Auburn fans this week compare this game to 2001, the 2001 Auburn Florida game, where Florida was ranked number one in the country. Auburn came in, I think, a 17-point underdog, and ended up beating Florida with Rex Grossman and Jabbar Gaffney and that team because they stopped the run and forced Florida to throw, which sounds insane, but Rex Grossman had 4 interceptions.
yeah.
And Auburn ended up winning on a late field goal. Shocking, I know. Um, Auburn winning anything on a field goal. Um, but no, that's what Auburn needs. Auburn needs the crowd. The crowd's going to be on fire. I've heard nothing but just on fire things from fans that are going to be there, and that they're heading up to really ramping up and going to be on fire. It'll be the best atmosphere that Georgia plays in front of until the SEC championship game for sure.
Yeah.
But the thing that I'm more interested in, I know what I'm getting from Georgia's defense, which is absolutely nothing. I'm getting shut down, but I'm more interested to see what Derek Mason and the Auburn defense does to try and limit what Georgia's offense does, because all I really know is that Stetson Bennett can throw the ball when needed, but and I know that Georgia can run the football. So with Derek Mason's philosophy, he likes to do zone, straight zone all the time, which in a man coverage world like we live in is a little bit tough. You saw it, you've seen it the past 2 weeks. Smoke Monday against Georgia State finishes the game with a pick six. Last week, LSU, it was a 4th and 6, I believe, but their drive ended at the end of the game with an interception that could have gone for a pick six, but Auburn decided to take a knee just to finish the game and get the heck out of town. You've seen the turnovers, you've seen the interceptions with the zone coverage, but can Auburn stop the run enough to force Georgia to throw and then create turnovers, or can they get those turnovers on through the ground game? I don't know if Georgia's going to be as amicable to turning the ball over to help Auburn out in that case either, which is why it's going to be so tough for Auburn.
My thing for our offense is, even if still like you said, like, oh well, like, pass wise, you want to do zone. We
Mm-hmm.
got zone beaters on our receiver
Yeah.
core where our speed guys like Jermaine Burton, or really and truly, we just we brought Big O back, Big Zero back, Darnell Washington, he's back, and he's at 100% this week. Tyke, like, and then we don't know, like, who else came back? Another one of our receivers came back this week. So, and then Burton has still been Burton, and Bowers
Mm-hmm.
has been the best tight end in college football,
Yeah.
literally. So it's like whatever mode, like you can run zone, but it's gonna be hard. It's hard to
Yeah.
stop this team in any facet. Like
Yeah.
if you stop the run game, Stetson Bennett played UAB. We didn't run the ball. He scored 50, he threw for 5 touchdowns like an Oklahoma scorer.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's like, it's a toss
Pick
up.
your
And mind
poison.
you, yeah, it's pick your poison. Arkansas chose the run game last week, and I guess they wanted to run a 3-man front for some reason the whole game.
Well, and that's Barry Odom's deal this year. He wants to drop 8. He wants to rush 3 because against teams like Texas A&M and Mississippi State, that's going to work. I'm interested to see, not to completely change the subject, but I'm interested to see what that does against Ole Miss this weekend, because Lane Kiffin just wants to throw. So yeah. I'm interested to see how that 3-man drop 8 works with Arkansas and Ole Miss,
That's gonna be a
just
good
for
game.
that'll
That's
be a
gonna be a
great.
really good game.
I'm more excited about the bookends than I am about the CBS games.
Yeah,
Because Alabama A&M is just going to. I mean, if you just enjoy monster trucks, sure, watch Auburn, Georgia, and then watch Alabama A&M, because it's just going to be grave diggers just piling cars on top of each other. Um,
yeah,
but no, I'm interested to see the game inside the game. For me is going to be Georgia's offense against Auburn's defense, because I know what's going to happen on the other side of the ball.
yeah. So that game is 13 versus 17. That's going to be a really good. Arkansas versus Ole Miss should be one
No,
of the games.
that's the game of the day, in my
Yeah,
opinion, in the SEC. Because call it the losers bracket game from last week. Um, uh, it's you're going to see I'm interested to see if Ole Miss's defense is as good as everybody says it was, because throwout last week, you're not as good as Alabama. Arkansas is not as good as Georgia. We knew that going in. So I'm fired up for that game. I'm interested to see uh, just what happens, how Arkansas responds, how Ole Miss responds, because I think that Lane, with his popcorn comment, his pride's a little bit hurt. So I'm interested to see what comes from
yeah.
that. But
That was you don't go into Alabama,
no,
um, and say something like that, and you be like, oh, um, let's just say we're gonna get your popcorn ready. It's gonna be a good
mm-hmm.
game. Nick Saban heard that, and he's like, okay,
Oh yeah,
that's fine. Yeah.
yeah. Well, no, you know
Uh,
that.
it's a
Um,
question for you, Drew.
yeah,
What is your thoughts on Brian Harson?
I personally, I'm a big fan of his. So far, what I've seen. I was saying earlier, I went up to before the show. I went up to watch Auburn and Penn State up in Happy Valley. Which, if you're wondering, if you've ever been to Florida Field, uh, if you've ever watched a game in the swamp, it's about like that. It's definitely it would be in my top 10 loudest, but it's kind of
I
hard
went to
to.
their spring game and it wasn't. It was actually
Oh
not that
no,
bad.
no,
Their spring
no,
game, but I don't like that stadium. I don't know why I don't like
no.
the swamp. I
It's
don't like
because
the
it's
way it's
straight up.
built. Yeah, it's not
It's
built
straight up.
good.
No.
Like
Um.
Georgia's is cooler because you can like walk and then you'll actually
Mhm.
be mid level. Like you got
Yeah.
to go upstairs and stuff to get the floor. It's
Mhm.
just like okay,
No, it's hard to not be loud with 109 people.
yeah,
But there are three stadiums that have rattled my chest. One's Jordan Hare, one Sanford Stadium, and Tiger Stadium. Those are my top three. I haven't been to Bryant Denny just because I don't have a hazmat suit that good. But no, going back to Brian Harson, um, after that game, which Auburn ended up losing, if you didn't know, we walked out of the stadium, and my dad and I looked at each other and we said, it sucks that we lost. Hey, we could have played better. We could have done this. I don't understand why we didn't do this. But we all looked at each other and said, we feel better about how this team is coached more so than we did this time last year,
yeah.
or 2 years ago. You can watch Auburn, which I know that you guys probably don't watch Auburn on a regular basis, just because. You'll notice in the game on Saturday, Auburn's more. The fundamentals are coached a little bit better, a lot better, actually. I like what he's done as far as grabbing the bull by the horns. A lot of Auburn coaches would just say, oh, okay, well, we're just going to do this and this is fine. And he has really grabbed the bull by the horns. You've seen that in how the wide receivers coach was let go. He didn't like the way that was really going, with the routes being run incorrectly, or guys finishing how the route looks on the route tree and then stopping and not continuing the play, which you saw that cash in this past week against LSU when Tyler Fromm, Jake Fromm's brother, was the lead out for a 4th and 2 for Auburn's first touchdown. He was the lead out on a 4th and 2 for a 5-yard out. It was covered up by LSU. Jake continues on the play and rolls back with Bo, breaks open at the very end, rolls into the end zone. Bo flings it up there and just prays and gets the touchdown out of the deal. And if Auburn doesn't get that, Auburn doesn't win the game.
No.
So you're starting to see little itty bitty things on the field change for Auburn. I hate. I kind of hate that this game's being played when it is, because I think Auburn's going to be a much better team in November than they are.
Y'all did it to yourselves.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I know. But don't get me wrong, beating LSU and getting that monkey off of our back for the first time since I was in high school is a big deal. So
I mean, you've had some moral victory, like your moral victory kind of like you almost beat the number. What are they, number 4 now?
Number
14.
Should have.
And you should have. You
should have. If you go back and watch that game, there were about 3, and I hate to throw the referees under the bus. Auburn got a safety that wasn't called, which that completely changes how the game is played. We got Auburn was down at the inside the goal line for the targeting on Zacoby
was such a
trash
yeah,
call.
I don't like Cousin. That was such a BS call. That was the worst call I've ever seen.
And I'm call me a homer for my Valdosta folks, but you call it on a Valdosta boy, a Valdosta Wildcat like that, and I'm not going to be a fan of yours, because Valdosta people don't cheat like that.
They cheated, and it was a bad call. Like it was horrible.
Yeah.
Like I sat there and was like, he stopped him from scoring. He was just gonna let him score.
What do you want him to do? Just escort him into the end zone?
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah. No.
Just score the ball.
So
that's why I say Auburn is like I don't have a bias towards Auburn, even though when we play each other,
sure,
hate. Just straight hate. I like SEC football. Yeah. I like SEC in general. Like when an SEC team plays when they play out of conference, I'm going to root for the SEC team because that's what you want to win. Sure. Like you just want to see your conference do good. Represent. So it's just like, man, that game, it's certain calls in that game that were like, what are you calling? Like you guys got some penalties called on y'all that were like,
sure,
just questionable, and it was just like, they wanted Penn State to win. Now Penn State has a really, really hard schedule going out from here on, and I want to see how they respond to that.
No, it starts this weekend for Penn State, and don't get me wrong, the Penn State fans and folks that we met up there, great people. Looking forward to them coming down and showing them how football is supposed to be done.
You guys will play that next year, and Jordan Hare. I might want to go to that game.
That would be if you want to get a good atmosphere and just enjoy it. It's kind of like my dad and I are trying to hit every stadium in the SEC, just for fun. And we want to go to Tiger Stadium when we can pull for LSU. Yeah. So because we want to be a part of that atmosphere. If you want to be a part of the Auburn atmosphere when you can pull for Auburn, go to the Penn State game next year. That will be an on fire crowd. The atmosphere will be pumped. They're going to let the eagle fly and scare all those poor little northern folk. They won't know what hit them.
Yeah, Penn State. Yeah, they play Iowa this week. That's going to be and they play. That's the 4:00 game. That should have been the night game. God, that should have been a night. Like Georgia and Arkansas should have been a night game.
Yeah. Wow. I hate that. I hate that for them Penn State folks. That's terrible. That's terrible. It's horrible.
But yeah, thank you. Well, we can. We talked. Wow, we talked about the game. Watching the Tulane game. Tulane is at. Tulane's actually playing really good. They probably won't score before half, but they'll be down 2 points. But yeah, going into I'll go into some Georgia scores. Of course, we play you guys. Georgia Tech plays Duke at 12:30. They're 2-3. Kennesaw State is 3-1. They play Hampton. Georgia State's had a horrible schedule this year. Let's be honest. If you
And
go look at who they played this year, it's just like, yeah, their first five was just they were supposed to be like an upset team, I guess, and they almost did it to Auburn, but then it was
could
just
have done it to Auburn.
yeah, and it was just like, man.
No, that's the worst game I've seen Auburn play since the early 90s.
It was bad. It was really bad. Valdosta State, your Valdosta boys,
Go Blazers.
they are 4-0.
Yes, sir.
They might win a national championship this year. The way they look, they get their toughest game is going to be University of West Georgia. They play Mississippi College at 3. Morehouse is 5-0-5. Clark Atlanta is 1-4. And I think that's all. And Southern's playing Troy at 7. That's gonna be a good game. Okay. So Georgia, most of our teams are away this weekend. I mean, we get a couple of home games, but Valdosta State plays West Georgia. I just saw this, and I think that might be one of the game of the. That might be that's gonna be one of the bigger games.
The state of the day.
Yeah, that's gonna be the state of the day game when they play, because October 3rd. Oh, that's the same day Georgia plays Florida. So that's going to be. That's gonna be a fun day. They play at
if that's who Georgia's playing, I can guarantee you that Valdosta State and West Georgia will be much better than what happens in Jacksonville.
Yeah, definitely. That's they're gonna be playing in Valdosta too.
Oh yes, sir. Phase 4 Hyder Stadium. Let's go.
Yeah, I've been. My sister graduated from Valdosta, and they do it in Bazemore Stadium. That's nice. First off, the stadium. I don't know why it doesn't fit, because I know the seats aren't Valdosta State. Cause I can't think of the high school name.
Valdosta High.
Yeah, Valdosta High, but it's still like really, that field is nice.
Oh, field. They put in the field turf about 10 years ago now, but it's still fresh. Looks nice. Right there in the Midtown area of Valdosta, if you can say that they have.
Let me look what Mercer. What is Mercer's? Let me see what they could. I mean, every team from Georgia is good. Let's be honest.
Mercer
teams like
Mercer didn't look like. Don't get me wrong, Alabama wiped them out because that's what Alabama does. But Mercer didn't look. They didn't look horrid.
Yeah.
Like they did what I expected them to do, but looked a little bit better. So I don't.
Yeah. So Mercer is now 4-1. Because they lost to Alabama. They're 3-1.
Okay.
They play Western Carolina next week.
Okay.
This week. This Saturday they should be Western Carolina. Virginia Military Institute. They should win that game. Wofford. They should beat Wofford. Wofford lost to Kennesaw State. Citadel. They should beat the Citadel, even though Citadel. Chattanooga. They play Chattanooga.
That'll be a tough game. Chattanooga is always tough.
And then they play Eastern Tennessee State, which is going to be another. That's how they end the season.
They've already got East Tennessee State has a SEC win on their record. So I don't know what you're talking about with the Bucks.
They did beat Tennessee. That's so sad to think.
No. They beat Vanderbilt.
They beat Vandy. Oh yeah, they beat Vandy. Oh, it's Vandy.
Which it's Vandy.
It's Vandy. Georgia beat Vandy.
They gave up more points than Georgia did. So
yeah. Hey, Mercer has a shot. I have to look into it. I'm going to look into FCS 1 because I haven't been looking at the playoff rankings yet. But they have a shot. Tech gets on my nerves. If you come in here and talk Tech gets on my nerves.
Oh, come on. You gotta throw some love to the Midtown.
Vandy, Tennessee was the
not much difference this weekend. If you checked out Tennessee's uniform combo.
That uniform is nice. That black one?
The straight black.
That black one is kind of cool. I was like, where did they get that one from? I was like,
The worst part is that I heard I live up in Nashville. So I heard from a Tennessee buddy of mine that they were going to go black helmets as well.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
Well, they were going to try, but they couldn't get them because of supply deficiency. Like the supply chain got it broke, so they had to go white lids.
Man, that would because I thought I saw is this all black and then it has the orange, the black and the orange,
straight orange.
That was like that's nice. I was like, okay, I appreciate. I was like, I will. Georgia has to go. I wish we would have went black, but we're not home this week, so we're not gonna go black.
No, we don't.
We might go black versus Florida.
Yeah, but that's fine. I'm good with that.
I think everybody wants Georgia to go black. Every time Georgia goes black, it just feels so right. It just
as long as you don't go with black helmets.
No,
like
we don't never
Georgia.
go black
No, no,
helmet.
no.
I don't
That
think we've ever changed helmets.
uh,
Like,
oh, you did.
Power Rangers uniform.
Uh huh.
The Power Rangers, yeah, we did.
Because
The
I saw
chrome.
y'all ran out with those black helmets, and I thought, man, that looks like a blood clot loogie. Oh
Yeah,
man, that's
yeah.
so bad.
That
Oh,
we went black, and then the Power Rangers uniform, the chrome
mm-hmm.
uniforms versus Boise, which was the
Yep.
Nike Elite Tech
The
fit.
elite
Yeah,
combat.
yeah,
Yeah.
it just didn't look right. So
No.
every
It
year,
needs
you have to keep a classic Georgia red. I don't think you can ever really change the color.
no. It needs to be silver pants, and it needs
Yeah,
to. I'll let you have one game with the black jerseys. You can
yeah.
have one game a year. That's fine.
That's the
But
only year we only won it one time a year. That's the only time you
I
really
know.
think. I don't think Georgia wants some people love the black, but the black is so exclusive. It's just like black is only for when you really want to wear black. So
And that's why I appreciated you guys doing it against Cincinnati last year, just because
yeah,
that's an exhibition game. It's fun. We're having fun out here. Go
yeah.
have fun.
And I love the black one. We had the dog collar on them last year. We had the silver dog collar on. I was like, yeah, those are nice.
Yeah.
But we supposedly have some type of other pants. I want to see.
I don't know about that.
It's like the silvers and the white. Silver and white has been the same combo for every. I don't know.
I was when y'all
Drew.
ran out the red pants against Arkansas last year. I was like,
that's the old school uniform.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate the old school, but
hey, thank you, Drew, for coming on.
Absolutely.
Drew is from the Magnolia
College in Magnolia.
Yeah, College in Magnolia. Please go check him out. It's at DrewMac20AU on Twitter. Please go check him out if you really like football. Really, he does football, baseball. Him and Jay Will. You guys know Jay Will.
Yes.
Jay Will was the guy that came on when we talked about Sharif. But thank you guys. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Like and subscribe. Peace. Tell them boys play time's up. Tell them put their